All right, welcome everyone. Today we are going deep undercover into the world of biology. But forget about dusty old textbooks. For this, we're going to need a detective's case file. And our number one target, life itself. So, you ready? Let's get into it.
I mean, have you ever wanted to be a detective for the natural world? Because that's exactly what a biologist is. Seriously, they're not just scientists in white lab coats. Nope, they are true detectives, piecing together all these tiny clues to solve the biggest mysteries out there. And hey, for the next few minutes, that's going to be you.
You know, every great investigation, every detective story, it all starts with one central question, right? A core mystery that just drives everything forward. Well, for biologists, that mystery sounds deceptively simple, but it's huge. It's what is life?
Okay, so to crack a case this big, we first need to get the lay of the land, Understand our field of operation. And that field is biology. At its absolute core, it's just the study of life. I mean, the name itself gives it away. It comes from the Greek word bios, which means life, and logos, meaning study. Can't get much more direct than that, right?
All right, so if we're studying life, we need a profile, a clear description of our subject. How do we tell a living thing apart from, say, a rock? What are those telltale signs we should be looking out for on the scene?
So think of this as our official detective's checklist for identifying a living suspect. First up, it has to be made of cells. Those are the fundamental building blocks. It's got to be able to grow and reproduce. It needs to respond to things happening around it. Stimuli. And this one is absolutely crucial. It has to maintain something called homeostasis. That's just a fancy word for keeping a stable internal balance. Kind of like how your body has a thermostat that keeps your temperature just right. And finally, over a long, long time, the species has to adapt through evolution. If your suspect checks all of those boxes, bingo, you've found life.
Now, every good detective needs a system, right? A reliable playbook that helps them turn a bunch of random clues into a rock-solid case? Well, in biology, our playbook is the scientific method. And listen, this isn't just some boring list of steps you memorize for a test. No way. This is the fundamental logic of how we discover anything.
So, this process is the absolute core of any investigation. It all starts with an observation. You spot a clue. Something catches your eye. That immediately sparks a question. Why is that happening? Or how does that work? From there, you form a hypothesis. That's your educated guess, your testable hunch about what you think is going on. Then comes the fun part. You test it. You run experiments to see if your hunch holds up. After you've gathered all your evidence, you analyze it and draw a conclusion. And the last step, which is so important, is you communicate what you found. You share it with the world. This whole cycle, that's how we build knowledge, one case at a time.
Of course, what's a detective without their gear, right? You can't solve a case with just your wits. A biologist's lab is basically a high-tech forensic kit, just packed with all this specialized equipment that lets us see clues that are totally invisible to the naked eye. All right, let's start with the most iconic tool in the kit, the microscope, our superpowered magnifying glass. You've basically got two main options here. First, there's the light microscope. This is your classic workhorse. It uses light and lenses to magnify stuff up to about 2,000 times. It's perfect for getting a good look at cells and bigger structures. But what if your clue is even smaller, like way smaller? If you're hunting for something tiny, like a virus, you need to bring out the big guns, the electron microscope. That thing has some serious power. But sometimes, just looking at the evidence isn't enough. You need to interrogate it, Make your subjects talk. And to do that, you often have to grow them right there in the lab. That's where a specialized culturing kit comes in, letting you create the perfect environment for them to, let's say, reveal their secrets.
I'm sure you've seen these before. Petri dishes. They hold this nutrient-rich gel. Think of it as an all-you-can-eat buffet for microbes. It allows a biologist to take just one single invisible cell and grow it into a whole colony of bacteria or fungi that you can actually see. It's pretty amazing. Then you need an incubator. This is basically a luxury spa for your microbes, a 5-star hotel that keeps the temperature absolutely perfect so they can grow and thrive while you conduct your investigation.
Now, in any real investigation, you can't have a contaminated crime scene, right? Evidence integrity is everything. That's what the autoclave is for. It's a high-pressure sterilizer that makes sure all your gear is completely clean before you even start. It's how you know for sure you're only studying your target and not some random microbe that hitched a ride.
And sometimes the biggest clues aren't on the surface. They're hidden on the inside.
That's when you break out the dissecting kit. With tools like scalpels, scissors, and forceps, a biologist can carefully examine the internal structures of a specimen, uncovering a whole new world of information.
Okay, so we've got all these powerful tools and we're running these sensitive experiments. It goes without saying there have to be some strict rules of conduct. Safety in the lab isn't just a friendly suggestion, it is a critical protocol. It's what makes sure every single investigation is done safely.
Following proper procedure is absolutely non-negotiable. This means you have to know how to handle every single tool the right way. For instance, you always use tongs to pick up something hot, like a crucible that's just been used for heating things to super high temperatures. Just remember, a successful investigation is a safe investigation. That is rule number 1 for sure.
And you know, all of this, it really brings us to the heart of what biology is all about. This quote just nails it. Biology is a science of inquiry. It's not about memorizing a phone book's worth of facts. No, it's an active, ongoing investigation. It's about being curious, asking questions, and then relentlessly hunting for the answers.
So, there you have it. You've got the profile of your suspect, life itself. You've got the detective's playbook, the scientific method. And you've had a full tour of the forensic kit. Really, the only thing missing now is a case. The playbook is officially in your hands. So the only question left is, what mystery are you going to solve first?